I'm Tristan Crandall, and today I'll be talking to you about the effect that standardized testing has had on American education. Standardized testing can trace its roots back to 7th century China, where students were tested on Confucianism. In America, it traces back to the Industrial Revolution. People started moving from farms to cities so they could go to work in factories. Without their children working on the farms with them, the children started going to school. Now, according to the United States Department of Education, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was signed into law in 1965 by President Lyndon Baines Johnson to completely overhaul the education system in America. That law was reauthorized in 2002 by Congress and President George W. Bush under the title No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind put the responsibility and accountability on schools and states to ensure that they were properly educating their students. The best way and cheapest and easiest way to ensure that they were properly educating their students was to test them. These needed to be standardized tests so that everybody had a fair shot and knew it was an equivalent, even thing across the board. Now I'm going to tell you a few reasons why standardized testing is not improving America's education. My first point is teaching to the test. Teaching to the test hinders overall education. Teaching to the test means that teachers are teaching to the point of the test and then continually reviewing that level of education instead of pursuing and pushing further. Now, according to the 2007 Carnegie Knight Task Force that was based at Harvard University, a national survey of 1,250 government, social studies, and civics teachers from grades 5 through 12 that stated 90% stated that news helped get their students involved and interested in class, while 9% stated that news actually helps them with standardized test preparation. 75% of those polled stated that they are using news and world events less so they can put that time towards preparing for standardized tests. In an increasingly connected world where things happen on one side and people know about it on the other in a matter of minutes, if news and real-life events can increase students' understanding and awareness and interest in education and the world and living, then why would we take time away from those things just so we can help them prepare for a test? For instance, my son's class recently spent 2 weeks reviewing material so they could test on the Louisiana standardized test. They took a third week to actually take the test. So that was 3 weeks away from learning so that they could review and then learn how to take the test. Which actually brings me to my second point, that standardized tests focus on simplistic answers and they can stifle creativity. In her 2011 article, Smart Yes, Creative Not So Much, Aaron Zagorski highlighted a study that was conducted by William and Mary's Kyung-Hee Kim, who evaluated Torrance test scores from 1968 to 2008. Now, the Torrance test is the most widely used creativity test in the world. And Kim noted that there was a decline that began in 1990, and she stated that the decline continued on as standardized testing took hold. And creative students may actually feel suffocated in school due to the rigors and structure of the testing movement, which can actually turn them into underachievers, not just in school, but throughout the rest of their life. And creativity and intelligence, they're not a dichotomy. You could be both. It's not you're one or the other. And most standardized tests are multiple choice, which makes them easy to grade because it's objective and you can keep it even and standard across the board. So you go from children and students just filling in a bubble, which takes away their opportunity to explore alternative ways of solving problems and getting down to the answer. The scientific method is not easily put to a bubble test. Now all that can actually turn to curb their enthusiasm for learning, which can actually lead to an apathy towards education. A better way to test them might be to have them explain in their own words why something is or how something is, because that can show that they have an understanding of the thing themselves and then a mastery to explain it to somebody else. In C.J. Westerberg's article, The Chinese Curse, Is America Next? That point is further emphasized by citing increased international test scores resulted in a mediocrity in the student as they transitioned into adult life. Now, the purpose was that there was a huge drive by the state, by the country, for a higher test score to look better on the world stage, but it inadvertently dumbed down the student. People were highly functional in selecting A, B, C, or D, but their critical thinking and everyday knowledge of problem solving was highly diminished. So to echo President George W. Bush in his address to Florence, South Carolina in January 2000, I must ask the question, is our children learning?